Hey guys, it's me, Shanna Montana, and I'm just here to let you all know that our new Savage Summer collection dropped on July 3rd, and we are loving the support. So be sure to visit our website today at www.tobesingleornottobe.com so you can make your purchase and rock your apparel all Savage Summer long. You are listening to the podcast To Be Single or Not to Be by Shanna Montana, a podcast where we talk about the single life, dating, and relationships so you can make a decision at the end of each episode to be single or not to be. So today's topic is Black women and how do you want a man to protect you? And I feel that this is a very necessary conversation for us to have. And of course, I wanted to bring some guests on who I know can add some value to the conversation. But I think that right now we are in historical times. We are in a completely different climate than many of us have personally experienced. And we know that right now, the movement, Black Lives Matter, as I always say, it's always been there, always will be there. But also we have to remember within that, Black women matter also. And many times we are the individuals who are the leaders of movements. We are the movers and shakers out there, and we go to bat no matter what some people may say. We go to bat for the Black. I mean, we go to bat for everybody.
Right.
No what it is we're doing? We go to bat for everybody. So I think it's necessary to start talking about people need to start showing up more for us as we show up for them. That's the long and short of it. So I wanted to start out first to introduce our guests. And first I want to introduce one of our newer guests that we have on. We're so excited to have KiKi on. Say hello to the listeners.
Hello.
Hi,
welcome,
guys.
welcome. And we have our in-house wife, Tori. Say hi.
Hey, guys.
And we have Chemyeeka. Y'all know Chemyeeka. So she's so glad to be on here with these ladies to talk about this. So we're going to get right to it. So you all know we see a lot of things on social media and just the internet overall about how, you know, the Black woman needs protection and so many scenarios that we see, unfortunately, on social media, instances where we are being disrespected and we are not being protected. In scenarios, you know, I've seen videos where literally something is happening to a Black woman. Like you all might have seen this one. Literally, this woman got hit with a skateboard in her face.
Oh, wow.
And it was, of course, I don't know who was recording it, but the fact that somebody was standing there recording this and did not step in to help her. And it was a male somewhere around. I don't know if that was a recorder because you could hear a male voice, but it was a male who assaulted this woman with a skateboard and went on to physically assault her. It eventually got stopped somehow. But that's just one scenario that I brought up because we see so many of them that are out there, even like right now. And I may need to dive into this later. We're going to talk a little bit about Megan Thee Stallion and her situation. But right now, what I'm saying all of that to say, we just are not valued at the level that we deserve in so many instances. And I do want to give the disclaimer. I'm not saying that everybody doesn't value us, not at all.
Right.
But we still need more value placed on us and we need more protection. So you all feel free, anyone to jump in first and tell me, how did we get to this place where the Black woman is so undervalued? Or have we always been here and this is not anything new?
Me myself personally thinks that it has always been there. Like even back, if we want to consider it, like go as far as back as slavery, we were always sexually abused, just things of that nature. We were always whipped. We were always just we've been abused. There's a theme of abuse, just historically when it comes to Black women. And back then, you know, the Black men didn't necessarily have the power to stop it. So that goes into like generational trauma and all that different stuff. We can get deep into that, but so they just don't know how to protect us in a sense. But I feel like the Black woman it's always been a trend of abuse, disrespect, and just not being protected and respected as human beings.
Right. I agree. What do you all think?
I agree. I definitely agree that that there's some predisposition from slavery days because they used to not only did white women get, black women get raped and all of that, but they also like took the men from each slavery plantation to breed women. Like, you know, there was no passion. It was just like, hey, it was a business proposition, basically. And then so stick a pin in that, and then let's talk about even in songs that we have that degrade the Black women. And then so looking, because let me give this insert about this case with Alexandria Cortez that had that the senator verbally abused. Did y'all see that?
Yes, I did
So,
see that. Yeah.
So she was saying that she felt like, you know, you basically just gave all men the red light to disrespect women.
Yeah.
And so to tie that back into this specific topic, if you as a Black man disrespect your own women, you're basically telling other cultures and other men of other races that it's okay to disrespect our Black women.
Yep.
So I think it's a lot of things. And then coming back to making it full circle, Black women are really strong. We're strong women. And part of it is because we had to be, and part of it is that we're naturally strong. So I think a lot of times they look at that. It's almost like a parent who has 2 kids, and it seems like she favors one.
Yep.
You know, like she's favoring one. And that one that she favors, if you look at it deeper, that one needs that extra from her versus the more independent one. So we can look at it like it's two female children that she has.
Yeah.
So so I think because we're so strong, they feel like we don't need that defense.
Right.
Yep.
And so I don't. But you know, we need that just like someone who doesn't. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love those scenarios. I remember, with the senator situation, is definitely if one person can disrespect us, especially if they, have the same skin color, even though that wasn't that case, it definitely opens the doors for other cultures and people and situations to feel the same. But also it's very true about our strength. Our strength is amazing, but our strength is almost like a catch-22.
A blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, absolutely. But that's why we have to tap more into for them to understand the side of it, that it is a blessing. And if you all want to continue to receive it as such, you have to be able to reciprocate that.
Right.
So
sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just about to ask you what you think.
So the only thing, I think that KiKi and Tori, aka T Baby, did a great job of kind of like starting at the beginning. And I think just to add in like what we're seeing now, we mimic what we see, like modeling. We oftentimes things that are unknown but known are those things that just through the generations just occurred, and we don't even ask questions, we just go with that. So I think how that plays into what everyone is saying is that as generational times have changed, the theme of separating the Black woman and the Black man did not, including in some of the ways that we see, what happens when you grow up in poverty, what happens when you're trying to get out of poverty. Like you have to, meet certain guidelines. If you live in certain housing, there can't, it can't be a 2-parent household, because if it is, then you don't meet, the income qualifications and different things. So we've seen that. We also see how with our prison system, a lot of times, not even a lot of times, there are more African-American men in the prison system than anyone else.
Right.
So when you look at those things, a lot of us didn't grow up in a household where a man was present.
Right.
If a man's not present, but there is a boy present, who is teaching that young boy how to be a man?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who is teaching him how to care for the Black woman?
Yeah.
Because even when you see the way, like they were saying, the way our parents even raise us, a lot of times, there's this saying, you raise your daughters, but you love your sons. So he's getting that, the attention he gets is different. So if you see even your mother treat your sister differently, how does that carve the way you view you're supposed to treat her? Treat her.
Right.
And then if we go even a little deeper than that, when we think about, song lyrics and other things, oftentimes support this structure that we have to basically leave the Black woman vulnerable, but also look at how we treat men who oftentimes are the ones who, are the romantic,
that's true.
guy, the one that wants to love and appreciate his woman. He gets all kind of, grief from oftentimes both sides of the line, women and men. So I think it's twofold. It's not only, about what we're seeing, but what are we teaching and how do we change what we're teaching so so that future generations actually do care, love, and protect the Black woman. And not only that, that the men begin to understand that it's okay to do so and show that affection openly, so that the next generation of women know that there are Black men who will do that for them. Because this whole independent woman thing that guys love to say, oh, you too independent for me. But if I didn't grow up having to be independent and being taught that I have to do for myself because nobody else is going to do that, then necessarily we wouldn't be in the situation we in now, where you telling me I'm too much and you can't handle it.
Preacher. I'm telling you. And it's almost like what you said in the end stood out to me. What came to mind was toxic masculinity. And that's the narrative that absolutely plays into this. And what you talked about, men being afraid to cry, being afraid to show emotion, and being afraid to, and showing emotion, sometimes meaning showing that emotion towards the Black woman to show that I care. So what does that look like? Like you touched on changing the narrative from all the things that we've talked about. Where do you even start this process? Where do we begin to help men to understand that the change is needed, or to help people to understand it, or to have the change within ourselves as we raise children? Where does the change start?
It starts now, no matter where you are. If you older in age, if you young in age, there's no time like the present. We can't change the future without making changes in the present. So that means, so there's so many levels.
I was gonna say we go into exposure, or we can say it starts in the home. But in order for it to start at home, we kind of have to change the structure of society in terms of what Chemyeeka touched on, with the school to prison pipelines and things of that nature. So it is a lot to it. It's just so much to it. I don't even know where to start.
Where to start, because it's so much.
So I think that if we look at the family structure, we start by, even if you aren't growing up in a 2-parent household, it's still the ability of the community to love each other.
Right.
So even if I have, because everybody lives in a neighborhood of sorts, even if there are single parents within that neighborhood, the ability of these single parents to be able to actually show their children, a common love for the opposite sex. Because even in platonic relationships, we affect how people see romantic relationships. If you can't have a friend of the opposite sex and treat them with respect, and that's a friend, why would you expect me growing up to see that I could be able to be in love with the opposite sex and trust them, if I can't even trust them on a level in which is not even seeing that maybe I'm being as vulnerable and as intimate as I would be if we were romantic.
Right. And that does start in the home too. Those examples of what you see, the mom, dad, whoever, those friendships, those relationships, all those things. So it definitely plays into that.
For sure.
And then as far as, if we take it a step further and we're going outside the home, for those that teach our children, who are teachers and people within, whatever systems and community buildings that our children are in, kids model oftentimes and play what they see. So it's not necessarily being he just rough because he gotta be, or
boys will be boys.
Or don't, we need to cultivate environments that nurture our children actually being okay with loving on each other in a healthy manner.
I was gonna say it's literally gonna have to start with community, but we need to stop acting like our culture is consisting of 1,000, 1 million communities. We're one community. We need to be one band, one sound with this thing. So I'm totally on board with what Chemyeeka's talking about, in a sense that we all have to be marching, or we all need to be under understanding that we're fighting the same fight. So
also that goes into, we always say, the saying was, it takes a child to raise a village. I mean, it takes a village to raise a child. I said, it takes a child. It takes a village to raise a child. But this goes back to the community aspect. Parents, teachers, whoever, everybody has to be willing to get back to that, because you all know now, you really cannot say anything to anybody's kids.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Parents at schools trying to jump on teachers, acting a fool. They, they believe whatever the child says, even if they know their child is a liar.
It's horrible. Yes.
So that's another obstacle. But go ahead.
Another thing too. I think a lot of times, going back to where women are strong, or women will deal with a lot from a man before they cut them off. And when
We
they
do.
do that, you have kids that are watching this, male and female. So your female child is watching you and will mimic what they see, and a guy and a male child is watching you, and you're basically teaching him how to cheat a woman. So so when you're with a guy for 5, 6, 7 years, and he taking you through there for all those years, and you taking it, like, that's a part of the problem too. Because I need now I said we were strong women, so I need us to make sure we're strong in the sense that we take a stand against guys that are doing those kind of things. And like you said, on the flip side, you do have those guys that we like, he lame and all this kind of thing. But don't drag out the abusive ones either, because that's a part of that disrespect as well. Because you're right. It's too many of us that let that happen. And then I'm gonna say this too, and I'm gonna drop this: side chicks. That shit ain't cool either.
Not at all.
Like the the fact that you're okay being the side, like, a part of it, we have women, we have to get together. So if we're talking about where the starting point is, we can talk about community, but we also have to get together. If we could get together and make sure that if we're gonna be strong women as a community, as a group, that goes all across the board. Don't be okay with being somebody's side chick. You're better than that. You know, don't be okay with dealing with him stepping out on you as long as he come home to you because you got the ring. Don't be okay with that. You know? So, but everyone has to get on board with that, because we can't. Some of us are not, or a short part of us, and then I mean, a short group of us, and then everybody else is okay with it, because it's just like, if you can't win,
it won't work. It won't work.
Yeah.
And it's what you said, it goes back to maybe the community is the community of women. It starts with us. It's very true. It's been said many times, but we teach people how to treat us, and everything that you gave was an excellent example of that, because on a previous episode we talked about how women, we deserve better, but we will never get better until we require better. And it's the same thing.
We be too scared.
We're scared of to be alone.
Even
we're scared to speak up, you know.
Me included. I'm dropping this, and me included. There's times, previously, where I might not have said nothing, because like, oh, he may think of me a different way, this and that.
Yeah.
But now
I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared I'm gonna scare him off. If what I have to say, and I read this somewhere, if expressing your feelings, your thoughts, or emotions, or anything is enough to make a person leave, they need
to
them go.
Let them.
Let them go.
And
that's what has to happen. And I think ultimately it's what you talked about. So say we have us four here that are together, and we have decided that, you know, we are gonna stand up for, you know, what's right and what we deserve and what we value. But then you have a group of another, say 10 women who are standing on the side of us, the side chicks, just so to speak, and they don't care about getting the respect they deserve. These are the women that allow, you know, men to disrespect them by cheating. They repeatedly. These are the women that will take a piece of a man, you know, knowing that a man is maybe dealing with other women. The man that tells you, I'm gonna go with the flow of things, knowing that they want a relationship. These may be the women that have seen abuse or other things that they know that they don't want, yet they still allow it, probably from not just using the resources or getting the help that they need. But I said all that to say, what do we do in those situations if we are willing to stand for what's right, and you still have women who, even though they know they deserve better, they don't force people to treat them better, and then it causes the movement to not go? So is it like No Child Left Behind, and we try to get those women on board, or do we just leave them where they stand?
I think that's when
I think it comes from the fact we have to like actually get to the point where we can identify that we are one.
Okay.
Because you also have to be able to get the women who are like, I'm not the side chick, to realize, sorry, this is micro, but I'm gonna make it bigger. If you in a relationship and there's a side chick and you quote unquote one with the ring, technically there's no difference between the two of you.
Not at all.
That ring is materialistic.
Right.
Anything can happen to it. If you in a relationship with both of y'all both decide, and either one of you getting all his time or attention. Right. If you in a relationship and you know you got the baby and she got the ring, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's proven to you that neither one of y'all is of priority. Right. So technically, in any situation with a side chick, y'all both side chicks. Right. So if you get to that, you know, it's loyalty or nothing. Like, literally, it's loyalty or nothing. then it'll help move the movement, because the women who believe like other women take from them also treat those women in a certain way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't help us. That's like men with the toxic masculinity that talk down to men who, you know, may show affection. Do I teach you or do I condemn you?
Right.
You know, it's not my job to judge. And, you know, I understand, like, of course, the first couple emotions that we gonna hit is like, oh, she took something that was mine. This belonged to me. And if we want to get out of the side chick piece, we had that sometimes when men about to get mad and their mamas be like, but he was mine first. Like, I ain't really trying to go through that battle either.
Right.
So how do
you
we
just
as
stepped on some
women
toes,
love each other and show each other the value, you know, who we are, and then also be able to take that and teach each other? Because you also have some relationships where, you know, mama and sister love on their in-law, and they are in turn teaching her about their family, not saying you're not a part of us and you're taking something from us, but you're becoming a piece of us, and this is what we do here. We have to be able to do that with young girls too, like, because we
don't say just young, because it be old girls too. It be grown women out here doing it.
That, and you know, and we don't teach young girls about womanhood. It's like one of those things, like we're giving you hard love to prepare you for what the world is going to give you, but we never take the time to give you
the beauty
and love on you in terms of
the beauty of it,
of the beauty of being a woman.
And we talk about that. You know, our parents a lot of times just tell us, like, don't get pregnant, don't mess with boys. That's it. Like, that's all it is to life. Okay. Like,
then
you know,
get to a certain age and when you gonna have kids, but you just you just told me forever not to have a kid.
For the past 27 years you've been saying not to have one. So I haven't even dated a man. Now you want me to find somebody in the next 30 minutes.
Right.
Like, come on now.
Right.
So it starts with us loving each other enough to teach through love, to show that there is no division. And then we can work from there.
And I think too, we also have to look beyond the obvious as well, because for a woman who thinks it's okay to be a side chick, what's wrong with that picture? What has happened to you as growing up? So I think therapy is a big thing. I know when Black people say therapy, like it is like taboo, but I really think a lot of these issues and things need to be unpacked. So
absolutely.
For the women that think being a side chick is okay, or for the women, even on the flip side, the woman, like you said, that has the ring, who's the other side chick, she too needs to see why she's okay with this, why she's accepting of this. So therapy needs to be.
And in 2020, therapy I feel has been very normalized.
And
it's something that people shouldn't shy away from. But, you know, sometimes, like we talked about generational curses or generational things, sometimes it's just been so embedded in some people that, you know, you go to the crazy doctor, as they call it, you know. But in no way, shape, or form. I heard Kerry Washington would say, like, we go to the dentist for our teeth, we go to the doctor to take care of our body. Why not go somewhere to take care of our mind?
For sure.
You know, and that's because that's the one. I think our mind a lot of times worries us more than anything else. Our thoughts. Our thoughts. So Tori, you mentioned something earlier in regards to sisterhood. You know, what are your thoughts about where we are with that in this climate, in this epidemic?
I just think sisterhood is something our culture has kind of stepped away from. We've kind of acclimated to the crab in a barrel, and I think that does come from not receiving respect, because the one who receives the respect, receives the love, is kind of seen as that prototype. So I think that we've all just kind of been grasping as that person, whether you're trying to receive that, you know, romantically from somebody, or just corporately trying to reach your goals professionally, or anything like that. I just think that we've steered away from like mentorship or just really loving on each other, and that can go like as a constant thing throughout our culture in general, not just sisterhood, but even brotherhood, as far as the guys are concerned, or just loving on our children the way we need to love on our children, to make sure every child is not left behind emotionally, not just academically, and things of that nature. So,
and I love that. I think what you said about the sisterhood and the mentorship, I think that goes back to what more women and more men need to do, because I think brotherly accountability is a huge thing, because it's great when people have mentors and they have examples and they actually mirror those good examples versus the negative ones. But I think that we just need to start to bring more of that back. But it all starts with I think a changed mindset, and back to what KiKi mentioned as far as therapy. A lot more people need to be sitting on somebody's couch or chair or whatever, a lot more than what they like to admit. Because in order, a lot of times, for us to escape those negative narratives or stop doing the same thing, we have to have some assistance with changing the way that we look and think about things. Because you aren't going to make any changes until you actually see that what you're doing is wrong, number one. Because a lot of people don't see anything wrong with the fucked up behaviors that they have. And then the other side of it is, once you get in that mindset, to be able to also consistently make those changes, but understand that even though your world may be changing, everybody around you is not going to change at the same rate you do, if ever. And you have to be able to still push through and continue to make those positive changes in your life, even if some of your circumstances don't change, i.e., if you're with a partner, since this is a podcast about relationships, you may be with a partner, say you're going to therapy, they aren't going to therapy. Hopefully you will be able to get them on the same page. But if not, and they are doing something that's still causing hurt and pain to you, you have to be able to understand that maybe I need to remove myself from this environment. But you got to be strong enough to do it.
And that's what I was going to say too when we were talking earlier about how do we create the change. The same when we're talking about building this community among the women and teaching young girls, we also have to be doing that among the men, not only for young boys, but for the men. Like how we were talking about, the whole side chick scenario. When it comes to men, like there needs to be a community. So I've seen recently, especially among this pandemic, there are more like communities of men coming together, creating panels to talk to men about their mental health. There are more, communities of men coming together saying, hey, we need to be talking as men about how we're going to take care of our communities. Conversations, and because I haven't been in any of those rooms, because I'm also a firm believer when we are creating safe spaces for men to talk, sometimes we as women need to be able to step back. Like we shouldn't be there. That way they can actually be and have a vulnerable or whatever they feel they need to be with men. So I hope among those conversations are talking about how to protect the community, that women are being looked at as part of the community, maybe even the bearers of the community, because we give birth to that community. So talking about that as a counselor myself and a marriage and family therapist, like some of the population I work with right now, my largest population is looking at prenatal and postpartum and talking to women about like post, either preparing for birth or like what it looks like post-birth. And it's amazing, some of these women, what their support system looks like from their, husbands or from their baby's fathers, and talking about how he goes with them to learn what he needs to do, whether it be giving massages during birth. Because as a doula, we teach the birthing partner about how to care for that person as they give birth. As a woman, even after birth, your body is still changing and you're becoming a new being. So how does your partner even support you in that? So when we're talking about community and women, as we are growing, as we are maturing, how are we supporting each other in that? So part of what I was, definitely, Shannon, when you sent out, was like, hey, this is the conversation I want to have. What I was thinking was this conversation has many pieces and could possibly be many episodes.
So many layers.
Because it's literally, we need men to protect us physically, emotionally,
mentally.
That psychological aspect. And we need for men to understand, just as much as we are creating, this world and we're fighting for these social justices, we are fighting for the right to be who we are, both as men and women. So we have to be able to protect each other. It's that sense of, I got your back if you got my back, which means if we both got each other backs, we're constantly looking in the direction you can't look to protect each other. Which also means sometimes we're gonna need somebody at our side, so we all can literally focus in the direction we focusing on and make sure we can handle business in that arena. So when I say that, that's where that community focus come from. If we all got each other backs, there's no piece of us that's left vulnerable.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to this, it's literally, we need to become on one accord, both as men and women in the Black community, of how we're going to take care of each other. Because there is no, oh, this is your role, this is my role. It's our role. By any means you can't handle business, I need to be able to step up and be able to handle that business for you, because I understand where you lack means the community lack.
I was going to say, and another piece of that is, in order to really respect me and to really, in order to protect me, you have to respect me. And in order to respect me, you have to have some level of, maybe not empathy, because everybody doesn't go through the same thing, but some type of understanding, compassion, for not only what I go through, but the things that you may foresee that I don't foresee because your perspective brings a different level than mine doesn't, and things of that nature. So I think we just, as a community, as a culture, just have to come together to respect what each other feel, our different perspectives, our different, understand our different struggles, but to at the same time say, you know, maybe I don't understand where you're coming from, or maybe I do, but I still got your back.
Yeah,
and see, I have it.
Yeah, and definitely, and knowledge is power. You're only as knowledgeable as the resources you can pull from.
Yeah.
So with the therapy, when the therapy comes in, or where reading comes in, or these different things that builds your resources, then that helps you be able to tackle different things that come your way. But you have to be able to build your resources, and so you can be willing to build your resources so that you can understand where your wife comes from when she bites your head off because her hormones are, you know, out of whack, or, you know, be understanding, and vice versa. Men and women are different, but if we try to at least understand each other and why each other thinks the way we do, it goes back to what Tori said, and Tori or Chemyeeka, one of you were saying where you were saying that you know, that we have each other's back. So part of that is having the resources to pull from, because if you have limited resources and you come up in a situation that you don't know what to do, you're not going to do anything because you don't have anything to pull from.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
And then you end up staying stagnant. You stay stagnant.
Yes.
So this is something I want to ask, because a few questions have come up, two parts. The first thing I want to say is, sometimes before, I would say maybe years before, I've heard people say, oh, Black women need to be protected, or the Black people need to be protected, whatever. And to some extent, I was a little ignorant to it. I think, like, what do they mean? Like, be protected, you know? And I have more of a concept of course, what that is now as an adult. But I want to ask, you know, in general, what do you all think it is really that Black women need protection from? Or, you know, what does protection, like, to put it in words? Do we say we need protection from being abused in corporate America? Do we need protection from being in relationships that are going nowhere? You know, so in your minds, in your own words, what do you all feel like we need protection from or for?
All the above.
Okay.
I feel like all of the above.
Right. I was about to say,
everything.
especially
everything.
Yes, and I just recently learned that July is Black Family Month.
Wow.
It's a national thing, and it's literally like what you were saying. Yes, Black women, but Black people in general, like the Black family, like we need protection, literally from becoming extinct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know that may seem like, oh, she going like a little too far. But if you think about it, extinction comes when first you get rid of a way of being. And then once you get rid of that way of being, or say that it's no longer necessary, the makers of that way of being are seen as less necessary.
Right.
And the more that mindset is carried on, that this is not necessarily needed, the easier it is for somebody to wipe something out.
Yeah.
When we look at trees, people for some reason keep forgetting that trees create oxygen.
Yeah.
We tear it down because we tear them down thinking like, okay, well, we make houses and other things. We're thinking about what we get from them, but not necessarily what they are themselves.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot from Black people and Black culture that people try to mimic, but it's still not Black.
And they have to, I want to say this, Chemyeeka, people need to understand, when you say extinct, you don't look extinct. You don't literally mean like every Black person gone from the earth. You mean like the culture and who we are as a people.
Right.
Yes. Right. Right. Because the sense that once people, you know, even if it's assimilation, once you get rid of the thought that, you know, the originators are original, it's still no longer ours, because you can't do it the way we did it.
Right.
Like, that's why people hold on to, you know, what their ancestors taught and what their ancestors brought over. Because the more it becomes Americanized, or the more it becomes into common culture, the less of what the power it originally held has.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And I would say, do you all feel like we need protection from the Black man?
Oh, yeah. on so many levels.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit.
We need, okay, so just generally, right? What Black men do is not like exclusive to Black men.
Right.
True. Exactly. True.
I don't want to say the N-word.
Negroes.
Men can be dogs on like white
all
men
levels,
dogs,
all
Hispanic
races.
men dogs. I mean,
True.
and they may be dogging each other's culture out, but what's relative to us is the Black man. So do we need protection from the Black man? I don't think necessarily no. Do we need protection from just toxic male behavior? Do we need protection from toxic women, like gender roles, things of that nature? Yes, we do. But I think where we need to start off is understanding that some men behave in that way because they know no different.
Right.
So we can't say we need protection from black men, because a beautiful black man that got his head on his shoulder is a beautiful thing.
Right. Absolutely.
Hey, she said she married the one.
Right,
Don't do that. She married the one.
It's a beautiful thing.
Right. We're not doing that. No. So no, we do not need protection from black men. We need protection from toxic love stories. We need protection from just all things that's toxic to our culture in general that black men may perpetuate, for sure. I just think we need education and, like she said, resources. And the resources, the truth of the matter, the resources are there. We need to start exposing those resources so people know where to reach out to, and to normalize those things so it's not shunned, like, oh, I don't want to tell nobody I'm going to therapy. Or, oh, I don't want to tell anybody I'm about to get married. I don't want to tell anybody I'm in a healthy relationship because all my dogs, they are being dogs. So I don't want to let them know I done fell in love with this girl that I met, blah, blah, blah. So I think we just need to start exposing those things so they be healthy, and just not making it exclusive to black men, because I think a lot of the times, just human nature. It's like when, like, for instance, when I'm in a room and somebody says, y'all acting like this, it's kind of like, wait a minute.
Who is y'all?
Step back. Who is y'all?
Right.
Who y'all?
Call that out. Because I'm not in that group. Because I don't do this, that, and the third. And, they say, a hit dog will holler, but at the same time, you don't want anybody to be on the defensive if you're really trying to teach them to be better.
Right.
Yes.
So we can't approach it in a way to say we need protection from black men, because that's not what we need protection from. Because that's almost in the same aspect, kind of perpetuating the image that
society
and black women can't have healthy relationships, right?
It's definitely what you said about toxic behavior. That's the protection from, and the toxic thoughts and the toxic
I
say it's a mindset. You gotta come out, you gotta go after that mindset.
Absolutely. Change. That's what a change. We talked about there's so many layers. Of course, this is going to be a continued conversation, but where does it start? We talked about starting from the relationship in sisterhood and coming together. We talked about that mindset of having to go to therapy or tap into those resources in order to make those changes. And then understanding that it's a constant process. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in one day. And you don't wake up tomorrow and you're all fixed and you're better. And you never have to, put any work back into it. So that leads me to ask this question. When it comes to, protection and what that looks like, we talked about, I believe Chemyeeka said something about, financially, mentally, spiritually, occupationally, having a job, don't believe in working, a consistent job,
stable, stability.
So let's talk about some of those things. I would say, and I'll lead it, I think for protection, when it comes to, if I say I need for the brother to protect me, meaning that I want that to be, whether my husband, my partner, my friend, or I'll just talk about in relationship. You want somebody to be stable all the way around. Stability is more attractive to me than anything these days. And and stability is something you need across the board. You need to be financially stable. You need to be stable in your career. You need to be stable spiritually, whoever you are praying to. You need to be stable mentally. That's all those things. I need to be able to trust that when I go to sleep at night, everything is okay. And then I'm not going to check, the mail tomorrow and find out we about to get evicted because you haven't paid the mortgage in 3 months because you got to get right.
Right.
That I knew nothing about, but that's crazy. That's a whole nother episode. I don't understand how these women don't even know nothing.
Girl, I didn't know he was paying the mortgage. No, I don't even know.
We look at these bills together every month.
Okay, because I'm
not just trusting. I just trust.
I'm logging in randomly. I'm logging in.
Look, ain't no e-statements. I want paper statements. I like to get in the mail so I can look at it. You're not electronically sending nothing to your email. We're gonna open this together. And it better not be a surprise when I open it.
Something I want to add to that. And future husband, if you listening, so I'm waiting. I just need you to understand. Like, I don't, I'm not saying that as in I, expect you to carry the weight of the world, because we're a partnership,
right?
So the goal is that you are able to come in and handle what I am handling. So when we handle it together, it's not as much weight on either party.
Yes.
So Chemyeeka, I hate to jump in, but I gotta say this.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say I hate, but I don't understand when two people come together and it look like they doing worse than they was when they on.
What?
Not saying a man need to come in and save
What
me.
are you here for?
Yeah, why are you here? If you don't add no value, give me a little breathing room. I hate to say it, but when I get married, I should have a little bit more money in my pocket because I'm not paying all of
Yes.
Why are y'all broke and it's 2 full income in the house?
How you broke? It's too like
Somebody doing it wrong.
Is doing cocaine or somebody is doing
gambling. Somebody gambling.
It's somebody got a problem
outside vagina. No.
Yeah. Something is going on.
I'm sorry.
So I just had to put that in there because I don't be understanding. So go ahead.
That's a good one.
Hold on.
We need to take a moment silence after that one.
Please, just a moment. R.I.P. to that monster. Okay. Forever, don't come back.
I don't get it. I'm telling you, it's happening. It's an epidemic out here.
Now that's the real epidemic,
right?
Yes. So I guess this was me giving a gem to the audience. And like I said, future husband, that was a key for you. It's literally, we talk about these strong-minded women. Security is important.
Yes.
Like from the time we are born, we like that. It forms in how the attachment we have with our parents, which also shows a lot into the type of attachment we're going to have with the future spouse. It shows into the attachment we're going to have with our own children. For me, security is number one. I need to know that I am secure. You want me to show you love, affection, all of that. I need to know that I don't have to worry about other things on my plate so that I can put that first. Because what does it look like we out here loving on each other, going on romantic getaways and dates, and the house ain't taken care of?
Or like embarrassing me because you talking somebody on the side.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I got the most faithful brother in the United States, and you got me out here looking stupid.
And my feelings hurt, and I'm on this trip really mad. But I'm gonna go because you spent your money. Like, So security is like that too. Security is taking care of home, but security is also taking care of me. And that's something I value the most. And that's what makes me most comfortable in a relationship is if I feel secure in what we have going on, because we are human. And there are going to be moments of insecurity, especially maybe around my time of the month, or I don't know what may be going on. I may just be feeling insecure that day. But,
or just natural stress. Like the truth is we're going to go through life and experience different stressors. So, I mean, it's normal to be stressed out and to have a moment of insecurity or just a moment where you're just not at your best. But your partner should be able to come in and if not bring you all the way to your 100, at least make you feel better and to love on you until you get to your 100.
So and so that's why I promise I was gonna get to that. So it was really that perspective of, when we talk about it's not an either or. It's not you provide for me physically, but you can't provide for me financially and emotionally. It's all of the above because they all are factors. Because anytime we are lacking something, given a boat analogy, if we out in the middle of the ocean and we ain't got supplies that we need, or there's a hole in the boat, meaning that one of the areas aren't filled in, you gonna sink because you letting in the ocean, basically. You letting in the water. So when we're lacking in one area, we're letting in problems. We're letting in the lack of communication. We're letting in stress, which means we can't go to sleep because I'm not finna go to bed that you mad and then wake up mad again. Ain't carrying all that stress back and forth to work. So literally when we say, Black men, protect us, it's literally that saying of, how do we make sure that we are in tune with each other, basically. And once again, that may come from learning each other. Like, how do we learn each other? But you also have to make me feel safe to want to get to learn you, because this ain't you aren't treating me the way I need to be treated, so I got somebody else giving me what you can't give me, but you giving me just enough of something else. Like, no, that's not it. Like, if I ain't giving you what you need, be man enough to tell me I'm not giving you what you need,
and let's figure this out.
Figure it out, or let you go. But please, this isn't you being held captive either. Like, I never realized why some women didn't like that whole wifed up or I'm getting cuffed. Like, nah, ain't nobody going to jail.
You're right.
That's not what this is at all. Like, you not being locked down for life. That's not it at all. It's the game. It's literally like the game of life. Like, things are gonna happen. How do we survive? If we gotta draw 4, am I gonna draw 2? You draw 2, and then we learn how to navigate these skips and reverses together. Because that's what it's supposed to be. Not one of us handling it all at one time.
And also in a relationship, I think you need to understand. I know if I'm in a relationship, I still want to feel free. You shouldn't feel locked down, like you just said. You're not going to jail. You're not. People like it's my last night before I go to prison. They have a bachelor party, like.
But that goes back to like toxic relationship and us making things that aren't supposed to be normal. And just going back to like the biblical and spiritual standards. And God never said when you meet your mate that, like, yes, that's it, in a sense that you're not supposed to be talking to anybody else romantically, things of that nature. But that ain't it. You still have individual purpose for your life. These people, we're coming together as partners. Women are to be the help. Sir, you are the provider. You cannot provide if you are not securing yourself, securing who God made you to be. You just can't. And so we've gotten so far away from that because there haven't been men in our community to teach our young brothers how to grow up and to do what they're supposed to do spiritually, physically, financially, or anything of that nature. So now we're just building homes. We don't have any foundation of how to really create a secure community for our family.
But it starts again with us, I think, because a lot of, I always hear people say, like, I want a relationship that lasts as long as my grandparents did, and we've talked about it many times. Grandma and granddad,
we don't know what they went through.
It was like, you don't know what they've been through. It's the same as people say their relationship goes. You're on the outside looking in. So I always tell people the only thing I would want in that instance is I would like a longevity. I would love to, but I want to be happily married for 30, 40 years. And I think that when it comes down to it, with so many things, we have to create new narratives and we have to create these new relationships and these new ways of thinking, because it is a completely different time, and how I'm gonna be in my marriage or how I'm gonna raise my kids may be completely different from how my mom or grandparents or whoever did it. And it's going to look different, but it's up to, I think that I love if you're able to be in a relationship and you and your partner create your marriage to look like what you want it to look like, where it may be very non-traditional to some people, but it's the tradition that you all are creating. And that's what's most important. Because I know for me, like I always say, like not having kids, like I think that, and this may be taken out of context at this point. But I always used to give the example that I would raise my kids something kind of like how the Smiths did, meaning Will and Jada, because they have a very like, I'm going to open and nurture you, but I'm not going to try to tell you exactly what to do. It's like, I want to guide you. And I always say, I would love to be like that parent. Like I'm going to be very present. I want to guide you. And I understand my philosophy with kids is they're just little human beings. And we hope they have their own mind, thoughts, all that. And we hope that we can teach and instill in them character traits where they can grow up and become, a productive member of society. But if it doesn't happen that way, I can't, not love you because that wasn't God's plan, and so I think that, we come from a school of, you just did what mama daddy said. And it was why I got to do this? Cause I said so. That's what it was,
But we went through a whole paradigm shift since our parents and our grandparents went together. Like they had to depend on the man because that was who was working at the time. And so what has happened in the Black community too, a lot of Black men, we got Black men that are not going to college, and you got Black women that are stepping up to where they're failing. So not only did we go through a paradigm shift as a society, but we also having to overcompensate for where our men are not, and not just talking about all the men, but a large percentage, because we are out here doing it. So and then too, when we were talking about the women in the role that the men play in helping protect us, one of the things too is that as a woman, we deal with, before we even get into a relationship, we have cycles, we have mood swings, we have so much to deal with being a woman and then being a minority woman. So on top of just those everyday things that we go through, then we have a man, and then he wants to bring side chicks and bullshit into the whole relationship. So that like, I don't need all of that. I need you when I need you to think about my feelings, my mind, my spirituality when you think about doing those kind of things. I need you to think about that and not yourself. Not be selfish in that situation. If we're together, if we're trying to build a future. So
not being
and then And then also, this is another thing that, we talk a lot about in therapy, and that is, I know it's some brothers out there probably listening to this podcast, like, they don't want love, like women don't be doing the same thing. I mean, and that is very well true, but if you are dealing with a woman who doing the same thing, you still got to look back and think, who was the man that created this behavior?
Yes.
Where did this originate? If mama had that same behavior and grandma may have had that same behavior, and was it great granddaddy did grandma that way, and then mom, that grandmother was like, I'm not gonna deal with this foolishness, so I'm gonna do what I want to do because I know he doing the same thing.
Right.
Like, where does it start?
Yeah.
Because the person that you are, and Shayna, we talked about this on a past episode, the person you are dealing with is just a representation of all the past generations that came before them and their family.
Yes.
So whatever behavior. Yeah, so whatever behavior you are dealing with that person, that behavior was not just something they crafted. It was crafted for a reason, whether it was either survival or not to repeat the past.
Yep.
So you still got a
defense mechanism. Yeah.
And
so much of that.
Yeah.
And I'm, for some of the men who might be like, well, it may have been a woman, the reason I did that. Like, I have yet to hear men talk about the fact that they cheat on women because, I don't think women are faithful, where that is literally a narrative among women.
Yes.
Women,
I've heard a lot of men say, I'm cheating on women now because I was cheated on.
Yeah.
Or, it's what the homies do, but never because that's like a common thread or a common theme among the opposite sex.
You're right. That definitely comes from the woman's side.
It's a decision. Like, I've had a conversation with my homeboy who before he got married, he was your typical step out on his girlfriend type of thing. But when he decided that he was going to get married, he decided to shut that down. Yeah. And so I asked him, because it's always intriguing to me to see for a guy to be faithful and to make that decision and actually stick to it. So I asked him, was it, how did you decide to do it? He said that in his mind, if he decided that he was going to get married, he was going to make the decision to stop doing that. Yeah. And he said, it's not easy. He said, it's not easy at all, because it's in a man's nature to be to pray. And so he said, it's not hard, but it will get easy as he continue to stay the course.
Because he's raised that way.
And how he knows that, because he has friends that has made that decision. You see what I'm saying? So there's that community. And with him, so it's maturity. It's a mix of maturity and that community of him making that decision. So
and also that goes to the brotherly accountability, because also if his friends have made that decision, and he's hanging out with them, he doesn't want to look crazy, and they like, dude, what you out here doing?
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it, and they probably don't want to be affiliated with that. So the company that you keep. Right. And then also, I think it gets easy, because the thing is, if you are going out and you're dealing with 4, 5, 6 different women, you're getting something different from all these women, outside of the sex. Whereas if you cultivate what you have at home, you can get all that in one person.
Exactly. Woo! And that's what you build. That's what you building your finances and everything.
You building your dynasty. And that's how it becomes easy, because you actually grow and love that person more every day because of what y'all are building. And I think that was a revelation that one of my friends had to have with me, because I was very much so being single for so long. I was like, I'm going to miss having options and having these guys and doing this. And one of my friends was like, Shayna, well, once you find the right one, the things that you're getting from those 5 different people, they will all be in one person. So I'm like, that made perfect sense to me, because I very much so was like, I don't want to let the streets go.
Savage. Just savage.
So, Shayna, I'm happy you brought that up, because that was something too, KiKi, I wanted to add to what you were saying. Just like it's a decision for a man, it's a decision for a woman. Like it's looked at like, women are nurturers. Like, it's easy for them not to cheat. It's easy for them to be loyal. I make a decision every day, just like you do.
Right.
Best believe you're not the only one checking.
Right. And trust them, the same way they talk about, I was on another podcast, we talked about this. The same stuff they think, women, like you just said, are out here. It's so easy to be faithful. It's, we don't have anything coming at us. No, these men are thirsty.
What?
And these men are out, not saying the ones that you won't, but they are out here. They in your inbox. They in your text messages. They everywhere, and they don't care if you have a man. So
sure don't.
Let's be clear. But carry on, sis. I'm sorry.
No, you good. That's it. Like, And I think that goes back to tie it back to the how do we protect how do black men protect black women? Understand that it's not something that just you're going through. I understand in a lot of ways the black man is still oppressed, the black man is still going through harm and can't even walk out of his front door.
Right.
But also understanding that I, as a black woman, value you and I see you as a key to the future. Because yes, I can birth the future, but I still need you to fertilize this soil so that we can birth the future. So you're still you're needed. So I can't let anything happen to you, because if something happens to you, it happens to us.
Yes.
Like you are a part of me. So it's going to take the black man seeing the black woman the same way, and it not being, oh, I just need a woman.
Yeah.
Because when I think of my future, I think of my king.
Yeah.
So I need you. You know what I'm saying? Like you specifically. When I hear that, something has happened to the black man, I'm thinking about that could have been my brother, my uncle, my father. That may be my future husband. Who knows? Just so as a black man, for you to hopefully have that same mindset would also help, because if you think of me as a needed key to your future, then you're gonna value me and make sure nothing happens to me.
Yep. Absolutely. You're going to protect me at all costs. Is what it comes down to. And I think that it's just something that I think in relationships, especially, that, the single state, I always say, being single can be fun, but so can being married. And so can building something with somebody. And, building the empire or the dynasty or whatever you want to call it, because ultimately it is a partnership. But you have to make a decision. And I always say it's a choice too, KiKi. Like you said, the guy was saying that being faithful in a relationship. Because you make a decision if you're going to go out and cheat, or you make a choice if you're going to stay home and be faithful, like anything we do. If I say I'm going to start a diet today, I have to make a choice as to what I'm going to put in my mouth. So it's like the song Devotion on the live version. They start out by saying something along the lines of, you can have or you can do anything in this life that you want with a little bit of devotion. So it's like, what are you going to devote yourself to in the discipline? That's what it is. How disciplined are you, and how disciplined do you want to be? Because we all know that in life, any reward that you're looking for, you have to have some discipline in order to get it.
And to even put this right quick, when two people meet together in God, that's favor. You guys don't even know that they missing out on great blessings because they won't settle down with that one person and build with that one person. And they probably know who that person is, but they still want to go out and do other women.
Behave in the flesh.
They missing their blessings.
Literally, I had a guy that I dealt with many years ago, unfortunately, that it was like, it got to the point where it was like a broken record, that this is a person who we couldn't get on one accord. We stayed in a situationship. And then anytime that I would foolishly think about making the decision to step back into that ring of fire again, and I would just kind of ask him, why couldn't he get it together? Like for us to, start to be together and build and grow on things. He literally would always just say things along the lines of I'm working on it. I'm going to get there. And I'm like, that makes absolutely no sense to me.
It's a choice.
Yep.
And
I'm like, what are you working on?
I was in a similar situation, and that was my thing. If you can't tell me, all you had to do was say, I'm trying, or I'm making an effort, something, but that I'm working on it, or I guess that's kind of the same thing. But this, in my case, he was more so just dead set on, I don't think I'm ready. Okay, well, then I'm not either. Goodbye.
Right.
So
I'm not either, and I'm out. I'm not going to stick around and hope and pray and wish, because not saying that it's an easy choice to spend the rest of your life with somebody. I get that.
Right.
But if even in the beginning, or if we going through the, talking stage, and it's this hard for you to commit at the very basic level,
right,
then I know when it comes time for the marriage, I will be that person waiting 10 years to get a ring.
Exactly.
You know?
And I was about to say that for me goes into that saying of, go with the flow.
What's the flow?
I need to know where the flow going.
Yeah,
go with the flow. Intentional.
Go with the flow with it.
Be
intentional.
I need to know
intentions.
Intentional.
Everything in my life has intention. From anything I do, I gotta write it down or it don't exist. So you think that you're gonna tell me misplan everything that I'm supposed to just go with the flow with my life? Because that's what you're playing with. Because to get in a relationship and dealing with you and allowing myself to open up my feelings and emotions to later possibly get my heart broken. You're playing with my life. And that's what we're not going to do. We're not going to go with the flow of my damn feelings.
And I want to add a piece into, and I promise I'm gonna tie it in. So, because we talking about, how situationships affect us.
Mhm.
Trevor Jackson has this song called "Situationships," and as much as I love that song, and I mean, it reminds me of a few people.
Okay.
But we have to protect each other also,
Yep.
as in the environments that we cultivate and
Yep.
create to meet each other in, and what we're doing.
Mhm.
Because, for instance, with that whole situationship song, it's basically a situationship, but only based off when I'm under the influence of whatever.
Mhm.
So, like, that number I dialed when I done had just enough of this, Ciroc, or just enough of this Crown, whatever flavor. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, I'm feeling a little nice, but I don't want to go to sleep alone.
Yeah.
Or,
I hate
I'm
nights like that.
I'm going to this party, and I know it's about to be, a lit party, but I don't want to be there alone because I know I'm gonna feel some type of way when I'm, doing X, Y, and Z. So let me call this person that I feel safe doing X, Y, and Z with.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel safe doing everything with you, but committing to you. How is that okay?
Yes.
How is that okay? I will call you.
Alarm.
You want girlfriend. You want girlfriend.
Yes.
You hit the nail on the fucking
But
head.
you don't want the commitment. Hell to the no. Hell to the
You
no,
want to
no,
do
no.
all this safe space stuff, fun stuff,
Yes.
girlfriend stuff, but
Yes.
you don't want me to be your
pillow
girlfriend.
talking all like you done got so wasted. We just laying out. You done told me your dreams and aspirations. And I'm the homie though,
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she great to talk to. We can do X, Y, and Z. And I'm not just talking about men. Ladies, we do the same. Let me speak for myself. I'm not gonna force my.
We do.
It's a couple numbers in the phone where you like, man, I done had a rough day. Let me hit him up so I can talk to him. He a great person to listen to.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we all got a few people in the friend zone that we know darn well if we gave them a chance to run the rock, they would be amazing. But we hold it back for some reason.
Yeah.
You might score that touchdown and I might like
or
it. So
even not just the friend zone. Like, I know it's like a couple of guys who are interested in me, like they just not my flavor. But I know that if I wanted to jump out the window with them niggas would be like, you could be my girlfriend today.
What you mean? They got a parachute ready.
They
you
ready.
Go hit the ground.
They ready to
You're
jump
never
out the
gonna
window.
touch the ground. Like,
And see, that might be the one, Shannon, that'll do everything you want.
And I was gonna say, because my husband was not necessarily my cup of tea at the time because I was in the Hennessy. But I learned Hennessy ain't good for you.
Yeah.
The Hennessy I like was not good for my soul.
Look, I done threw Ciroc out because I like the darkness. Like, it's got just enough power to it. Like,
Look,
you ain't gotta mix it with nothing.
You're right. That's why I don't know them out the window. Like they don't on my bad side, but I just it's almost but you don't want to be at a point where it's like, oh, this is the last resort. I guess I'll go over here and try, give them a whirl.
No,
give them a whirl.
So we have to also protect each other, in that sense too, because in a lot of ways, and I know that this wasn't necessarily part of this podcast episode, in a lot of ways there are things that are being introduced to our community that are not only impacting our behavior, our mindsets, but therefore impacting the way we act in relationships and even if we form relationships.
For sure.
Because it's that if I can, as grandma would say, why he gonna buy the cow baby if you're giving him the milk for free?
Absolutely.
For sure.
And I think that's why women, they absolutely have to make sure that, and we always talk about this, just communicating what they want early and often and actually standing on it and being sure that's what you want. Because I found myself in situations where I, say was dealing with somebody and I was thinking like, okay, I think I want a relationship. But then as that person kind of, may start saying little things that lets me know they may be about to ask me about a relationship, it's almost like a fear kicked in. Where I was like, I'm actually not as ready for a relationship as I thought I was. So you have to be sure about what it is that you want, if it's a relationship or a partnership, whatever the case is, but just make sure that you're able to stand on that if you are not going to get what you want. Because when they say people show you who they are, believe them. If a man or a woman, whoever is showing you something and you see that that's not what you want to sign up for, don't do it just because you don't want to be sleeping alone at night.
Yep. And another thing, this might step on some toes. We do talk a lot about like don't act like a husband or a wife before you husband and wife. But also you can show me protection before I become your wife to let me know if I feel safe enough with you to want you to be my husband.
Right. Because I don't want to be with you and be afraid we get in a fight you're gonna get beat up, or or just I just gotta make sure you got a gun. Make sure you got some protection out here. I gotta be sure I ain't stronger than you. So.
That goes in entering a relationship with the intention of understanding what a relationship is about. Number one, and then number two, you respect me as a woman. From the gate, like regardless of you going in it knowing that I am a woman, I deserve to be respected, regardless of where this relationship.
That needs to be part of your character.
Yes, and I'm checking on how you treat your mama. What's the relationship y'all got? And Lord, not just like Terrence Howard and Think Like a Man, not necessarily a mama's boy,
right?
But like how do you respond when she calling you? What is your reaction before you pick up the phone? If we all out to lunch or something, especially if your dad's passed on and your dad's not present, are you pulling out her chair? Am I? Because that's showing me also, did she love you, or like in how she raised you, did she love you, or did she teach you while loving you?
Right.
Because you can love somebody and teach them at the same time. So like, are you
spoil them and give them feminine characteristics?
It's a fine balance. It's a balance.
Yes. So like, when we're together, are you able to treat her like a queen and treat me like a queen, showing me that you understand that the love you have for her, there are levels to that love that you need to be able to give to the other women in your life as well.
Absolutely. And I think that something on another episode, the ladies of the New Nashville podcast were on, and one of them said something that stood out so much about begin with the end in mind.
Frank Covey.
Remember that. What do you want out of this? When you start, and stick to it. I mean, if you changes where you don't want that anymore, that's fine. But ultimately, most times, once like 30 plus, you aren't really dating, just for fun, just for a fun buddy.
Right. Now we don't need them no more.
Yeah, you're dating like we talked about with intention. So you have to be intentional about it. And I think that everything we're talking about, this whole movement has to be intentional. And that leads me to ask this question, if we look at the layers we've talked about, just to kind of recap of getting the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the commitment of the partnership and the mentoring, getting in the therapy, changing the mindset, things of that nature. How do we sustain this movement to get the protection and keep it in place? Like, how do we get the momentum going? Like, if we get started, how do we keep it going?
People have to understand its importance and its value. They have to understand that the need for protection is the need to be able to sustain life and carry it forward. So it has to be seen as not an option. Like, there is no option to, do I protect you or do I not? I have to protect you because protecting you is protecting me.
What results are they seeing? If we start to do it and we start to see results, that'll be more of a motivator to continue or to make it bigger.
I was going to say the same thing. You have to, a mix of those two things. You have to make it popular. Right now, we live in a, what we see is what the new world.
Instant gratification. The wave. What's the wave?
Right. And we live in a, just, I got to get it. But what is it? So I think culture cultivates what it is. We just have to make love popular. We have to make normal, healthy relationships.
Come on here now.
Supporting us,
like a trend,
supporting each other,
not a trend.
Make it a fun and popular thing. And I think also as women, our role in that is we have to definitely just wrap our arms around and hold hands on the fact that we are going to stand firm in what we want and what we desire, and that
support each other
to support one another and support that friend when she may be going through a tough time, or to support that man when he may need to have that conversation with his girlfriend about something, to the point where men know, like, nah, like, don't even step to a black woman like that, because she not going. Like, it's like you have a certain group of people, they may know, like, don't even play with Shayna like that, because it's not gonna go how you think. It got to be where they think the same way about black women. Like, don't play, or seeing other people do it, quit playing with our women, basically. Play with your man. Don't play. Quit playing with us, So I think it's all those things that you all talked about, making it a trend, the wave, putting it out there, being consistent, supporting one another, stacking our hands on it, and knowing that there are going to be times where people fall in the gap and we could try to pull them back up. But also knowing that there are going to be obstacles continued, as we see every day on the news. Things are happening to us, for us, against us, or whatever, but we have to be able to push through those things as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that will really be a great start to this movement.
Yep.
So sure. We're going to wrap up. This is basically part 1 of this conversation, because I know I want to continue to have it and just, keep the conversation going for us I encourage the listeners in your sister circles or your brother's circles to start to have these kinds of conversations. Like, how can everybody do better with supporting one another? How can everybody do better in actually standing firm in what they want? Because as we said earlier, if what you're saying to somebody, you're being respectful. If it makes them want to leave, they need to go anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
TD Jakes always say, let them go.
Yes.
Let them go. So I think this is just going to be a continued conversation. I definitely want you all to just give yourselves a round of applause for an awesome episode. I have learned and gained so much, and I'm just super excited about the continuing of this conversation and to just share this episode with the world, so that everybody else can go out and we can all just start putting our footprints down and start doing the work that's necessary. So again, want to thank you to all of our guests. We have Positively Meek on here. You can find her on Instagram. Tori, tell them where to find you on your Instagram. I don't want to say it wrong.
Okay, I'll change my name, so I'm not gonna find you. But it is right now. You can find me at I am Tori Brianna.
Okay, awesome. And KiKi, do you want to tell the listeners where they can find you? If you want to, you don't have to. Okay.
Sure. You can find me at obvious_illusion. So obvious illusion is spelled obvious and illusion with an underscore between the two of them.
Gotcha. And it'll definitely be in the podcast, in the information, the details of it, so they can find you there. So again, thank you all. Your opinions are always valued and appreciated. And we'll be right back with the Montana Minute.
All right.
And now this brings us to the Montana Minute. The only thing I really want to say on this Montana Minute is just make sure that you listen to today's episode forwards and backwards, and you know where you stand in this movement that we are starting right now. It's all about the sisterhood. It's all about the mentorship. It's all about the brotherly accountability. And it's all about making a change effective immediately. And once you're done doing that, make sure that you do your part to make sure that the killers of Breonna Taylor are arrested. And that means that going in and making phone calls, sending letters, sending emails, whatever your part may be, because we know that everybody's part in this fight is different. So on top of that, be sure if you listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts that you leave us a review, and I'll leave you all to decide to be single or not to be. That is the question. Signing off, yours truly, Shanna Montana.